All right, these are some things to never say to a woman over text message or in person, really. You never want to say this. The more I make these videos, it's pretty clear to me that a lot of guys have no clue when it comes to just overall masculine and feminine dynamics and how to carry things. So I'm going to help you with all this, okay? I'm going to help you cover all this, and this is going to be super simple. Just stick with me. So first off, okay, these things only make sense once you learn, understand, and master the language of women. I know that you guys hear me say that so often, but you have to actually understand why. Not only is this my process, but there's a reason for this. The reason is because the main idea when it comes to understanding the language of women is getting her to pursue you instead of you pursuing her. So I'm going to show you in just a little bit why you saying all of these things makes her not want to pursue you. Okay, so getting her to pursue you instead of you pursuing her is the base idea of understanding the language of women. Well, you might be wondering why. Okay, the reason is because at all times we are trying to satisfy hypergamy. So let me give you an example. This truly is a process that any guy can use. One of the guys in our community, we actually just crossed over 1,300 members. He goes #1 program. At times I have checked out other influencers just to see what they have to say. At some point they all show a sign of try hard energy or their actions validate the woman. So I default back to language of women. That means something. This is what the guy said. Okay, so this is why I'm telling you, this is a process that any guy can use. You have to learn, understand, and master the language of women, because what we're doing is we're getting her to pursue you, which satisfies hypergamy. Well, why would that be? Because women want pre-selected men. This is why I keep telling you, you have to join us inside of this. It's some of the best material that I've ever created. Okay, when you understand these nuances, you'll see how all these things over here that guys say to women lowers her desire, it lowers her interest level, and it makes hypergamy not satisfied. So now that we understand this, now that we understand why this is so important and why words matter and why words determine how she views you, notice this is why I call it the language of women. Words is what's going to create different levels of perceived status that she has in her eyes for you. Now we can actually address the things that men say that you can never say when it comes to messaging a woman or text messaging her or any of this stuff. Never say these things. I'm going to show you why. So #1, the first thing to never say or never ask a woman is, what are you doing today? Never text message this, never ask this in person. First and foremost, you have to understand this. The player doesn't care. And it's not even like he doesn't care about her. It's like he actually doesn't care to open up his phone and even type it in the first place. Like overall, you gotta understand this. The player is lazy. So lazy. Even if she's beautiful, she's gorgeous, there's a very high chance if she calls and he's not doing anything, he's going to just ignore the call simply because he doesn't feel like talking. See, this is what you have to understand. The player is lazy at the core level. The player doesn't care. Okay, so when you ask, what are you doing today? You're now focused on her. By even asking it, you're focused on her. And it means you actually want to know. So now you are in her frame, or you're operating in her world because she gets to tell you. And I'm here to tell you that it doesn't really matter what she thinks she's doing today, because if her feelings change, she's doing something different at any time. She's going to choose what she wants to do in that exact moment. So now you're focused on her world and not yours. This is very bad. So I'm here to tell you this. In general, just stop texting women in general if there's no need to. For most of you guys, you got to understand, majority of the text messages or the things that you're saying, there's probably no need to say any of it. Just stop texting completely. Just quit. Just quit all of the texting, okay? Majority of men that I see ruin perfect dates and perfect potential relationships that they could have with women simply by texting. Well, the reason being is because he refuses to create space. The guy refuses to create space. He refuses to allow space, mystery, and not needing constant communication with her, he refuses to do those things. Because of that, he ruins what would have been a perfect relationship. Because he doesn't let these three things work in his favor, right? That time apart, that space, that mystery, all of that has to work in your favor. So this is the biggest problem right now that I'm constantly seeing when it comes to guys who are text messaging women, is you don't understand this. Most guys simply don't understand this one thing, okay? You cannot have a relationship through a phone, okay? And she's not going to forget about you. Even if multiple days go by, right? She's not going to forget about you just because you didn't message her. But see, this is the problem, is guys are seeking emotional reassurance through a cell phone. Just stop texting altogether. Just quit. All these things you're saying, all these things you're doing, these exclamation marks, these emojis, all this, just stop all of it. Just quit. Pointless. Think how many days, or not even days probably, but just think how many like hours in general you've spent staring at your phone, right? With text messages that go nowhere. So just quit. Okay? She wants a man whose life is more interesting than hers. You have to understand this. So when you say, what are you doing today? This implies interest. This is why I'm telling you the player doesn't care. When you say, what are you doing today? The player doesn't care. So if you even ask, it implies some sort of care. She wants a man whose life is more interesting than hers. By you asking, she will naturally start to assume that it's not. She will naturally start to assume that it's not more interesting than hers. So this is the first thing. Just quit asking, what are you doing today? Okay? The second thing, to never text a woman or to never say to a woman, never ask this question, how's your day? Never say, how's your day going? Okay, once again, we have to address this. The player doesn't care. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if she's having a good day or a bad day. Why do you care? Why aren't you doing what you want to do? Okay? The player doesn't care. And the reason why this one is even worse than saying, what are you doing today? Because when you say, what are you doing today, there is a slight chance if she has interest in you, it might lead to plans, and she knows that. But when you say, how's your day? This is very bad, and here's why. What this is doing, okay, this is you trying to check in with her just to see if she still likes you, to see if you get a text message back. Okay? What you're doing here is you're actually subconsciously looking for reassurance, or you're like fishing for some kind of emotional reassurance that she still likes you. You're looking for reassurance that she's still right there and will still communicate with you. This makes you look scared. Okay? This is very bad. This signals that you need to keep a relationship alive and active simply by checking in. This is not good. This is not how you keep a constant relationship going, by checking in, okay? Most guys think that more communication is going to lead to higher desire. This is not true, okay? Signaling that you need to keep the relationship alive simply by checking in is bad. When you check in, she sees that you're still right there and you're still thinking about her through the day for no reason when you should be focused on your own day. This is very bad. It shows you're scared. It shows that you're scared she'll forget about you. So the signals you need to keep the relationship alive simply by checking in as if she'll forget about you. That is what you're probably thinking. Now, here's what you have to know. If you are truly her number one choice, if you are truly her number one choice that she has for an option, she'll never forget about you. The secret here is becoming her number one choice. This is why I keep telling you, how do you do that? You have to learn, understand, and master the language of women. Very important. If you have not yet joined us, I don't know why. I'm watching this constantly help guys in their dating life. Number 3, the third thing to never ask. Never ask, what are your plans this weekend? Okay, back to my original statement. Once again, the player doesn't care. Like, if you really want to know why you should never say these things, you should really never say these things just because the player doesn't care. He don't care what you're doing today. He don't care how's your day, and he don't care what your plans are this weekend. There is sometimes I will get a text message from a woman and I won't open it sometimes for 3, 4, 5 days in a row simply because I'm too tired and I don't feel like it. This is how it goes. Now, When you say, what are your plans this weekend? Here's the secret. The player knows that she will exit her plans even if she has them already in order to be with him if she wants to. Doesn't matter what she has going on. Birthday party, friends getting together, whatever. If she wants to see you bad enough, she will just skip all of it. And she'll just go see you. Because her desire level is there. So, here's what you have to know as well. Planning anything is anti-seductive. I have had to learn this as well over the years because I would be busy with work. Okay, so if it's a Tuesday and I try to set plans for Friday, right, I would do this because of my schedule. So I'd be like, okay, I need to kind of plan things out because I'm busy. So here's what you have to remember. If you are planning something, and let's say it's Tuesday, and you try to set plans for Friday, okay, even if you are a man that she views as attractive, the problem is you are now planning something with her. And this is validation. What this also signals is, hey, look, it's Tuesday, and look, he's thinking about me already on a Tuesday for 3 days later. So even if she had high initial interest, this might actually lower her interest because you tried to plan. The true player only plans his day around him. He's only going to plan his whole day around what he wants to do right there in that moment. So why is this? Why is planning anything not seductive? Well, it's because women operate off of feelings. So this is what I mean. The perfect date idea in one moment in time becomes her flaking the next time or the next day when the plans were supposed to happen simply because she doesn't feel like it. So you could have the perfect date, and she might even agree to it, and then she wakes up that morning of the date and she just doesn't feel like doing it. Maybe she's too tired, maybe she wants to do this instead, maybe you lowered your value simply by planning in the first place. Stop planning anything. We have so many men pursuing dates and pursuing women in general when this is very bad. Hypergamy is satisfied when she's doing the pursuing and she's winning you over. You can't win this. You have to totally think of it from a different perspective. Okay? Now, to conclude all of this, they will only tend to answer these questions, like these questions you're text messaging a woman, hey, what are you doing today? Hey, how's your day going? Hey, what are your plans this weekend? They will only tend to answer these questions when they are past the age of 30, okay? Because they become more overt in their communication. They're now more direct with their communication. As she ages, you will typically see her be more direct in her communication, and now she's going to answer these things logically. Now, the reason why is because she wants to waste no time. She's looking to waste no time. She wants to move this relationship at the proper pace for her and make sure that a relationship unfolds typically at a pace where it seems probably faster than you are used to, okay? Or maybe even faster than she would have moved things a few years ago. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, to conclude this, okay, always do these things. Number one, never text to make plans in the future. Never do that. If you happen to be doing something that day, you can see if she's free. And it can be as simple as, hey, come with me, let's go do this. Okay? Number two, everything is in the moment and needs to be in the moment. That right there is how you create vibe and chemistry. It's in the moment. Planning something ruins the moment. Last but not least, the player she wants, she will see, no matter what. He doesn't need the proper text messages or any of that. He's definitely not going to send paragraphs. If your text messages or your communication is more than 1 or 2 lines maximum, okay, not good. Overinvestment. So once again, to tie this all together, I know that this is so hard to understand logically because you're like, this just doesn't make sense. I should be able to ask these things and the communication should be good. But you have to understand this, okay? The whole premise of every single text message, every phone call, every time you guys see each other, every date you go on, it is to do one thing. It is to satisfy hypergamy. And that is why we must learn, understand, and master the language of women. That right there is why we must do these things. If you like this video, hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to join us inside of that, and we will see you in the next one.